Hey everyone, ready to jump into tiny houses?
Let's do it.
I know a lot of you are looking for the easiest way to build one.
And the most affordable way.
Yeah, and that's where we thought this deep dive into Tiny House Made Easy would come in handy.
It's this program by Adam Ketcher.
Yeah, have you heard of him?
Yeah, he's built over 300 tiny houses.
Wow, that's a lot of tiny houses.
He's even consulted for his competitors.
So he really knows his stuff.
I think even if you don't buy the program, we can uncover some really cool stuff about tiny houses.
Oh yeah, some of it is pretty surprising.
Like, wait, what? Surprising.
Exactly. Like, did you know he's a big deal in the shipping container home world too?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Which, by the way, has a lot of overlap with tiny houses.
Yeah, a lot of the same skills and principles apply.
So he's not just some guy who read a book about tiny houses.
He's been there, done that, made the mistakes.
Learn the hard way so we don't have to.
Exactly. And he talks about these mistakes in the program, things that could save you thousands of dollars.
Okay, give me an example.
All right, so one of the first things he talks about is soil load-bearing capacity.
Soil load-bearing capacity. I'm not sure I get that one.
Basically making sure the ground can support the weight of your house.
Oh, the foundation. Yeah, that's important.
It is. If you build on the wrong kind of soil, your foundation can crack, shift, and then you've got a big problem.
Expensive problem, too.
Exactly. And speaking of foundations, Adam claims he can show you how to build one for 30% less than traditional methods.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah, you could put that money towards something else.
Like a fancy composting toilet.
Exactly.
So he's got the foundation covered. What about the actual structure of the house?
Well, he's developed this special framing technique he calls CC hatching.
CC hatching. Sounds interesting.
He says it took him 45 builds to perfect it.
45. He must have really been committed to getting it right.
Yeah, he says it's the strongest and most efficient framing method out there.
Okay, but what about the land? That's a big hurdle for a lot of people.
Well, get this. Adam hints at a way to get other people to buy land for you.
Wait, what? How is that even possible?
No debt, no strings attached. That's what he claims.
And then he says there's a loophole for parking your tiny house for almost nothing.
Now, hold on a second. We have to be careful with these claims.
Yeah, it sounds a little too good to be true.
We need to do our research and see if it's even legal where we live.
Right, we don't want to get anyone in trouble.
Exactly. But it's still interesting to think about these possibilities.
Totally. So he talks about the land, the foundation, the framing. What about the trailer?
Oh, he's got a lot to say about trailers.
He says 95% of people mess up when buying one.
Now, that's a scary thought.
What kind of mistakes are people making?
That's what we need to find out.
Okay, this is getting interesting.
Yeah.
So what else does he cover in the program?
Well, one thing that caught my eye was his claim that you can get essential parts for your tiny house for free.
Free? Seriously?
Yeah. He doesn't go into detail, but it probably involves being resourceful.
Like hitting up salvage yards or something?
Yeah, or connecting with local builders.
Or maybe trading skills or services.
It's all about being creative.
Okay, so he's given us some pretty intriguing hints about land, trailers, and free stuff. But what about the nitty-gritty? The actual construction?
Oh, he dives into all of that.
Like what?
Well, he talks about waste and water management.
That's a big question for a lot of people.
Hmm.
How do tiny houses handle things like toilets and showers?
Right, and Adam gets into it. He talks about gray water systems.
Gray water systems, what are those?
It's basically reusing the water from your sinks and showers for things like watering plants.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And eco-friendly too.
Exactly. He also talks about composting toilets and different options for heating water.
So he's thinking about sustainability.
Definitely. He's big on minimizing environmental impact.
That's awesome. What about staying warm in the winter? Tiny houses can get pretty cold.
Oh, he's got you covered. He has this whole section on thermal efficiency.
Like what?
He talks about the importance of a heat-reflecting roof. Apparently, it can outperform a standard roof in terms of keeping the heat in.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
And he's got this 3 eyes rule for winter.
3 eyes.
Yeah, it's all about insulation, insulation, insulation.
Makes sense. You want to keep all that heat trapped inside.
Exactly. He's also big on using closed-cell polyurethane foam in specific areas to guarantee the house stays warm and lasts a long time.
Closed cell poly wood foam. I'm going to need more information on that one.
We can definitely dive deeper into that later. He even talks about landscaping tricks that can help with insulation.
It's like planting trees or something.
Something like that. We'll get into the specifics later.
Okay, so we've talked about staying warm, managing waste, and even getting free stuff.
Hmm.
What about the legal side of things? Permits, regulations, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that can be a nightmare.
But Adam claims to have a secret for finding bargain-priced land.
And he says he knows how to use a tiny house's size to your advantage to get around zoning issues.
That sounds promising, but also kind of risky.
Definitely. We need to be careful and make sure we're following all the rules.
He also mentions asking the city one crucial question before committing to any piece of land.
I'm dying to know what that question is.
Me too. It sounds like he's learned some valuable lessons about navigating the red tape.
It wouldn't be surprising after building 300 tiny houses.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about land, permits, trailers, construction, sustainability. But what about the fun part? The design.
Oh, Adam has some cool ideas about that too.
He mentions using optical illusions to make the space feel bigger.
And clever storage solutions that don't sacrifice living space.
I love that idea, making a small space feel big and functional.
Yeah, it's all about being creative with the design.
He even says there's one design decision that can make or break a tiny house in the long run.
I wonder what that is.
I'll have to keep digging to find out.
So we've covered a lot in this deep dive so far. What's piqued your curiosity the most?
This is your deep dive. Let's focus on what matters most to you.
All right, so you're ready to dig back into Adam's Tiny House Made Easy program?
Yeah, I am. He's got this whole section on bonus content that seems pretty awesome.
Right. It goes beyond just the basic building stuff.
Yeah, like he's created this whole tiny house universe.
It's a good way to put it. Like he's anticipating all your questions and needs.
Exactly. So what caught your eye in the bonus content?
Well, there are a few things.
Like what? Tell me.
Well, first off, he's got these guides on tiny house trailers, shipping container homes, and even homesteading.
Wow, so it's like a whole lifestyle package.
It's not just about the house, it's about a way of life.
I like that. So tell me about these guides. What do they cover?
Well, the Tiny House Trailers Bible seems really interesting. He says he reveals everything you need to know about trailers.
Everything.
Well, he claims to cover it all. Where to find them cheap, what to look for, how to haggle for a good price.
Okay, that sounds pretty useful. Especially since he said 95% of people mess up when buying a trailer.
Right. This guide might be the key to avoiding that mistake.
The trailer is like the foundation of your mobile home, so it makes sense to get it right.
Exactly. You don't want to skimp on that.
What about the shipping container homes guide? What's in that one?
Well, it's all about how to build a home out of a shipping container.
Sounds pretty intense.
It is. Construction essentials, finding quality containers, floor plan ideas, even navigating regulations. He covers it all.
It's funny how those two worlds, tiny houses and shipping container homes, seem to go together.
Yeah, there's definitely some overlap. Both are about minimalism, affordability, and freedom.
That's like a whole movement.
And then there's the tiny house homesteading guide.
Homesteading. That sounds pretty off-grid.
It is. It's about living a more self-sufficient lifestyle, growing your own food, generating your own power, all that stuff.
So it's like taking tiny living to the next level.
It's about connecting with nature and becoming less reliant on external systems.
I love that idea. It's so empowering.
And speaking of off-grid living, he has another program called Living Off the Grid.
Oh, wow. He really does have it all covered.
That one dives into alternative energy sources like solar, wind, and micro hydropower.
It's like he's thought of everything.
He really has. So what are your thoughts so far?
I'm impressed. He's created this whole network of information around the tiny house lifestyle. It's really inspiring.
Yeah, it makes you rethink what's truly important in life.
It makes you question what you really need to be happy.
Exactly. So anything in particular that's piqued your curiosity?
Yeah, actually. Remember those claims he made earlier?
Which ones?
About getting others to buy land for you without any debt or strings attached, and finding a loophole for parking your tiny house for almost nothing.
Oh yeah, those were pretty bold claims.
They sound too good to be true.
It does make you wonder.
Like, how is that even possible?
Right.
Is it even legal?
Good questions. We definitely need to do some more research on those.
Yeah, we don't want to get anyone in trouble.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's important to be aware of the potential risks.
And to make sure everything is above board.
Absolutely. But it's still fun to think about the possibilities.
Definitely.
What about his claim that you can get essential parts for your tiny house for free? How realistic is that?
Well, it depends on how resourceful you are.
Like, what do you mean?
It might involve going to salvage yards, connecting with local builders, maybe even bartering your skills.
So it's not just about getting lucky.
It's about being proactive and creative.
It's about thinking outside the box.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like there's potential for saving money there, but it takes work.
There's no free lunch.
Okay, enough about the free stuff. Let's talk about design.
Yeah, let's get creative.
Remember those optical illusions Adam mentioned for making the space feel bigger?
Oh, yeah. Those sounded cool, like mirrors and strategic lighting.
And open floor plans?
Right. It's amazing what you can do with a little bit of design know-how.
It's like those tiny apartments in Japan.
Exactly. They make the most of every inch of space.
And then there are those clever storage solutions.
Built-in shelves, understair compartments, furniture with hidden storage.
You have to get creative when you're living in a small space.
Absolutely.
Adam also mentioned a crucial design consideration that can make or break a tiny house.
Do you remember what it was?
I think it was about functionality and flow.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's easy to get caught up in the aesthetics and forget about the practicalities of daily living.
You don't want to be bumping your head or tripping over things all the time.
It has to be a comfortable and efficient space.
It's about designing a home that works for you.
And that reflects your personality.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's your final thought for our listeners?
Well, Adam's program offers a lot of valuable information, but there's one crucial step he doesn't explicitly mention.
What's that?
Researching local building codes and zoning regulations before you even start designing your tiny house.
Yeah, that's a great point. You don't want to pour your heart and soul into a design only to find out it's not even allowed.
It's like showing up to a party in a tuxedo when everyone else is wearing jeans.
Uh-huh. Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the challenges, the strategies, even the eco-friendly side of things. What really stood out to you in this whole tiny house deep dive?
You know, it's more than just a construction project, right?
Totally. What is it about then?
It's like this whole journey of self-discovery, like you get to redefine what home actually means.
I like that. And maybe shrink your footprint on the planet too.
It's about simplifying, focusing on experiences rather than just stuff.
It's like hitting the reset button.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've shared Adam's insights from Tiny House Made Easy, but now we want to hear from you.
Yeah. What are your biggest tiny house challenges or questions?
Anything holding you back?
Share your thoughts, your fears, your wildest tiny house dreams.
Yeah, we're all ears.
And who knows, maybe your question will inspire our next deep dive.
This has been an amazing journey exploring the world of tiny houses.
It's not just about hammering nails.
It's about building a life.
A life that reflects your values.
Yeah. Creating a space that's functional and beautiful.
A sanctuary that's uniquely you.
And most importantly, it's about daring to dream small and live large.
Until next time, happy building, everyone.
See you later.